All right, let's jump right in. We're about to get into an idea that is so powerful it might just change everything for you, and that is your identity. Who you think you are isn't set in stone, not even close. So today we're going to break down exactly how you can consciously and deliberately change it.
So, let's start with this. You are not who you think you are. I mean, that's a pretty bold statement, right? It goes against this core belief we all have in a fixed self. But what if the person you are today is just a draft, just a starting point?
You see, so much of what we call our personality, our habits, the limits we think we have, it isn't some permanent feature. It's really just a story. It's an automated loop your brain has gotten really, really good at running. And for most of us, that loop has been playing uninterrupted for years, until now.
Okay, so first things first, let's really understand the problem. Why do we feel so stuck sometimes, caught in these old patterns? Well, it all comes down to what we can call the identity loop. This is that mental story we are constantly and often unconsciously rehearsing. This loop really has three main parts that feed each other. It all starts with your beliefs, these little stories you tell yourself, like, oh, I'm shy or I'm just bad with money. These beliefs then drive your habits, like avoiding social events or not checking your bank account. And those two things together, they create what feel like real limits, like I just can't focus. You see how it all connects in a circle? But here's the big shift in perspective. These things, they are not facts. They're simply well-worn neural pathways in your brain. Seriously, think of it like a path in a forest. The more you walk down a particular path, the clearer and wider it gets, right? It becomes the easy default route. Your brain does the exact same thing with your thoughts and behaviors. So this is the real battle going on inside. On one side, you've got the story. That's the autopilot loop, the easy path, the old you. But on the other side, you have the truth. And the truth is, your identity is not fixed. It can absolutely be rewired. And the most empowering part of all of this, you are the one in control. You get to be the engineer.
So, if we can change, how on earth does that actually work? This is where we get into the science of it all. We're moving away from the problem and into the solution, which is backed by real science. This isn't just some wishful thinking. This is about understanding just how malleable your mind really is.
The key word here, the one to remember, is neuroplasticity. And it's such a cool concept. All it means is that your brain isn't a static block of concrete. It's more like clay. And every single time you think a new thought or take a new action, you are physically reshaping your brain. You're literally forging new connections.
And this is why we call it self-directed evolution. It takes this whole idea way beyond just simple self-help slogans. We're talking about applying the core principles of evolution, adaptation and change, and applying them consciously to our own minds. This is a proactive structural change from the inside out.
And here it is. This is the simple rulebook for how your brain operates, based on a famous principle in neuroscience. Neurons that fire together, wire together. All it means is that when you repeatedly activate certain brain cells at the same time, the connection between them gets stronger. They basically become a team. This is the exact mechanism we're going to use to build a new you.
Okay, so if neuroplasticity is the what, the science behind it all, then how do we actually do it? How do we put it into practice? Well, that brings us to the how, the repetition engine. This is the practical, hands-on method for building your new identity.
The process is actually pretty straightforward, and it breaks down into 3 steps. Step 1, define. And I don't mean vague goals. I mean get surgically clear on the person you want to become. Step 2, rehearse. You have to start thinking, speaking, and acting as if you are already that person, especially when it feels fake. And step 3, rewire. This is where consistency is everything. You just repeat these new actions and thoughts until they become your new normal.
And this is absolutely crucial. The change has to start on the inside. You can't just sit around waiting for other people to tell you you've changed. You can't wait for the world to validate you. You have to be that person first. The internal reality you create through rehearsal will eventually, inevitably, shape your external world, not the other way around. A lot of us fall into this trap where we wait to feel motivated. But here's the thing about motivation. It's just a feeling. It's an emotion. It comes and goes. It's totally unreliable. Repetition, on the other hand, that's structural. It's action-based. It doesn't care if you're tired or bored or uninspired. It just shows up and builds those new neural pathways, brick by brick. Your future self isn't built on a feeling, it's built on what you do.
So here's a little visual of what's actually going on in your brain. When you start, that old identity, that's the superhighway. It's the dominant default pathway. But as you start repeating new thoughts and behaviors, you're literally building a new road. And as you use the new one more, the old one starts to get overgrown from disuse. And with enough consistency, look at that. The new identity becomes the new superhighway. It becomes the automatic choice.
And this leads us to the final phase of this whole transformation. And honestly, this is where the magic happens. What happens when that new pathway becomes the strongest one? Well, it's the journey from consciously trying to be someone new to that new person becoming your effortless second nature.
So the path kind of looks like this. You start with the old autopilot, where the old you is just running the show without you even thinking about it. Then comes the tough part, the conscious repetition. This is where it feels awkward, maybe even fake, because you're forcing your brain to take a new path. But if you stick with it, you get to the new autopilot, where this new version of you feels as natural as breathing.
Now think about how profound this is. It's not that you're just holding the old you back or suppressing it. The neural pathways that supported all those old habits and beliefs, they actually weaken. They wither away from disuse. In a very real physical sense, your brain forgets how to be that old version of you. And this is what it feels like when you get there. That thing you were working so hard for, whether it was being more disciplined or more confident or calmer, it stops being this distant goal you're chasing. It just becomes who you are. It becomes your nature. And that's when everything changes.
So we'll end with this question. Your brain is a storyteller. It is going to tell a story on autopilot whether you like it or not. The only real choice you have is whether you're going to be the one who writes the script. So, who do you want the main character of your story to be? The choice truly is yours.